you guys heard of Frida Kahlo before?
Yes.
Yeah? No?
Coco.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah? What is she like? What do you know her? What do you know about her?
She's from Coco.
She's from what?
Coco.
Oh, from the movie? She's in the movie Coco? Yeah. Anything else? What is she kind of known for? What do you think, like, with this picture?
Días de Muertos.
Well, kind of, but what about her face? Flowers in her hair. She's known for, like, the unibrow kind of painting as well that she does of herself, okay? So, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to complete a project inspired by the artist Frida Kahlo with 100% accuracy as measured by standards. Also, she was inspired by Mexican folk art as well, okay? And surrealism. Do you guys know what surrealism is? Have you heard of it before?
Yes. There should be the paintings about like how their worlds came through.
It's about what, sorry?
Yeah, I remember paintings of a wall.
Yeah. Okay. So surrealist is like when you're living in kind of a dream world. Have you heard about Salvador Dali, the artist?
Yes.
That does like the elephants with the really long legs and the dripping clocks and stuff like that. So it's kind of living in this like weird dream world sort of stuff. So she was considered like a magical realist, surrealist, which is kind of what that means, right? Because she kind of has like some magical vibes to her paintings and stuff. But she's also known for like, she thought of herself as more of like a folk artist, like, you know, portraiture, Mexican folk artist and stuff. But she is categorized as surrealism as well, okay? So we are going to watch a little documentary on her. We're gonna look at a couple of things of hers, and then we're gonna start the self-portrait, okay? We'll probably just get through the drawing and we'll try and color it tomorrow or on Monday, depending on our time, okay? Any questions? We're good?
Frida Kahlo is the most famous female artist in history. She deviated from the traditional portrayal of female beauty in art and instead chose to paint raw and honest experiences. A near-fatal bus accident at 18 left Frida crippled and in chronic pain her whole life. But she managed to make a virtue out of adversity and astonishing original art out of her pain. She was a Mexican female artist who was disabled in a male-dominated environment in post-revolutionary Mexico. A feminist icon who broke all social conventions and produced some of the most haunting and visionary images of the 20th century.
Famous paintings, okay? It's called The Two Fridas. It's her biggest one as well.
In 1939, Frida Kahlo's career was taking off, but at the same time her personal life was falling apart. It was under these circumstances that she produced her greatest painting, The Two Fridas. 10 years previously, she married Diego Rivera, a world-famous Mexican artist 20 years her senior. The bizarre Beauty and the Beast dynamic captivated the world, and they went on to have one of the most obsessive and tumultuous relationships in art history.
Have you guys heard of Diego Rivera?
No.
No, he's a famous Mexican artist as well. He did a lot of political, like huge murals and stuff everywhere. He was flown to like the United States a lot to work on big projects. He's really well known as well in the Mexican history.
This time the Louvre bought one of her works. André Breton, the leader of
Do
the...
you guys know the Louvre? You know the Louvre Museum? It's like one of the most famous museums in Paris. Yeah, it's like one of the biggest. It has a lot of like really well-known artists.
At the same time, she became a great return to Mexico in April of 1939, a different woman. At 32 years old, she was the toast of the avant-garde art world, an accomplished artist who had made it without her famous husband. She cut off her hair and abandoned the Mexican clothes that Diego loved. It was under these traumatic circumstances that she began to paint the two Fridas. After her accident at 18, she spent a year in bed recuperating. Her father gave her paints, and her mother had a special easel made so she could paint in her hospital bed, and had a mirror placed above her so she could paint herself, inspired by Mexican folk art.
Some of the stuff that you might have missed, like got skipped over. So part of the reason that she became famous and a lot of her like paintings have to do with her and her husband had kind of a tumultuous relationship. They both kind of cheated on each other a lot. So she was like, they were madly in love with each other, but then they broke up, and that's when she kind of moved to America and started painting on her own more, and that's when she kind of became more well known, okay? They were kind of like infatuated with each other, but a lot of that has to do with her art. And so when they show the two Fridas and they're dressed differently, like he really liked her to dress in the traditional like Mexican Mexican clothing and stuff. And so when they talk about the two paintings, one is her like not dressed that way and one is the other, and it's her like fighting against like him and what he wanted of her and trying to be like, I'm not gonna do this because you like this, so I'm gonna do the other thing, right? And like cut all her hair and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Major influence was ex-votos, also known as retablos. Ex-votos were inexpensive paintings by self-taught artists on small panels, often made of tin. They are
So have you guys seen the tin paintings? No? I think it's like more of like in California we see them a lot too because we're so close to Mexico and stuff, but they're like really thin sheets of tin that people paint on. I think it's like a little cheaper. And then you know what, sometimes you can see like the little nail holes like in the tin and like the bleeding hearts or whatever with the flames or something like that. That's very traditional like Mexican folk art too, okay? So it's something that she was inspired by, like this style. So this is her, she was in an accident when she was younger. They didn't really go over that a lot, but that's an important thing too. So she was like on a trolley and they were hit by a car. So a metal rod like went through her, like through here and out. So when she's in bed and painting from bed and in the cast, that's because of that accident. So a lot of her work too reflects that because she's always like in these body casts and she's always wearing like bigger skirts to kind of hide because she also had a limp because she had like polio when she was younger and stuff. So she like that shows through in a lot of her work too. Like she's in a lot of pain all the time, and so when you see her face and all of that kind of stuff, she does that a lot and stuff. And so when she had that accident too, she wasn't able to have children anymore. So that's in a lot of her work too, like the sadness of not being able to do that and all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit more background.
often have blank expressions and are in a stiff, artificial pose. There is a flat, rigid.
Do you guys see like how her face here and then in the painting before it? You kind of see the inspiration from that?
Quality to these paintings that we also get in Frida's art, her own. But like her, it emerged from multiple hybrid sources. At a time when few Mexican women had the opportunity to express themselves at all, Frida was exploring multiple identities. In the two Fridas, a double self-portrait, the darker-skinned Frida on the right is the indigenous Mexican Frida that was adored by her husband. And the lighter-skinned Frida on the left is the European Frida that he rejected. If we look at the Mexican Frida first, this is how we think of her, wearing a traditional Tijuana outfit. The indigenous Tijuana, a matriarchal society, became a cultural symbol for the Mexican revolutionaries. By dressing the way she did, she sent a clear message of cultural identity, nationalism, and feminism. But the Tijuana skirts, boxed blouses, flamboyant hairstyles, and facial hair also had a more practical purpose, as a disguise. By focusing attention on her head and shoulders, she concealed and distracted us from her disabled body. She had already started wearing longer skirts as a child to disguise a shorter right leg caused by polio. The movement of the dresses also concealed her limp. And after the bus accident, she had to wear medical corsets because of severe spinal injuries.
So she had to
Over
wear
her lifetime, she had more than 30 major offs in the male-dominated art world. Nothing stopped her, not even her disabilities. She had constructed her own identity around her politics, ethnicity, and disability, and would inspire generations of female artists who still face discrimination. But although
So, what did we think about this artist?
Great.
Do you like it, or it's a little different? Yeah. Do you think like her paintings express the stuff, the trauma that she's been through? Now that you kind of learned a little bit about it, does it kind of understand it a little bit more? Yeah. Which one of these dresses is the traditional one?
Right.
The one on the right. Good job. Remember what it's called?
The Tijuana.
Like Tijuana.
Tijuana.
And I think you said the left one was the European.
Yeah, it was the European style, which was like what her mom was wearing when her mom got married, right? So, we understand the symbolic meaning of this, the portrait, right? Who's in this portrait?
Diego.
Diego, who's her
Ex-husband.
husband, right? And then what does this symbolize?
She's cutting him off.
Yeah, that she's cutting him off from her life and stuff like that, right? Tin paintings are called
No.
ex votos. Like the votive candles, just think of that, and then ex votos, alright? What else was she inspired by? Do you remember?
By
The
the
Mexican
streetcar.
Like this, that was a big thing, an influence in her life, right? The accidents she had and stuff, right?
Like a lot of colonial art too.
Colonial, like Spanish folk art and stuff, right? And then 19th century, like the portraitures. Remember that with like the long necks and the face and stuff. Yeah, cool. Good job. All right, so we're gonna look at a couple more images of hers. Brody, please lift your head up off the desk. Thank you. And then we'll start the project, okay?
Okay.
What's this painting called?
3Vidos.
Yes, very good, Alex.
Yeah, pay attention.
That's her sister that she painted. What's going on in this picture?
Yes.
Oh, is that her too?
Who's that?
Diego.
Diego, and then that's her. Yeah, good. So what do we think like this kind of represents when we look at
The war.
The war, good.
Revolution.
And then what is something that she does in a lot of her,
Roots.
yeah, the roots like into the earth. So she also does like a lot of skeletons, right? Because of like, I think how close she was to death and how she always felt like, yeah, pain and stuff, that the roots were like always reaching down into the earth and stuff like that.
Instead of like plants and like mechanical stuff.
Yeah, so the kind of all this stuff. And then it was like her two lives too, because she did go to America with Diego when he was painting a mural, and she didn't really like it there. So she really like missed her home. So this is like representing her home, and then this is representing what she thinks of America, right? Like factories and all that stuff too.
What's the baby on the left? Is that a baby?
This one?
Yeah.
This is more like an Aztec Mayan style,
Oh,
like
like a voodoo doll.
yeah, kind of like, you know how they have them all, they all have different meanings and stuff like that. And then this is like, you know, the ruins. Have you guys ever been to like any of the ruins? Like,
Yes.
yeah, they're cool. I went to some in Guatemala, like in Tikal. They're super cool. You like go all the way up to the top and stuff. It's pretty neat. You've been to some? Where?
Last time I remember, it was like when I was 3.
When you were little? Was it in Mexico or was it somewhere else?
I think it was like in Colombia.
Oh, okay. Are there a lot of ruins in Latin America too? I know there are tons in like Mexico.
South America.
And South. It's like some, okay, so this is a famous one too, right? So this is kind of traditional for her too, like the style, right? So she has like the jungles in the background, and it's kind of what I chose for like our portrait a little bit. All right, and then there's like the monkey always, and it's always like tied on. And so this is like a pretty famous.
That's what she had in Coco. She had a monkey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
That's a real animal.
The
Her monkey.
Yeah, so that's like symbolic of these paintings. That's why they had it in there, because she has a lot of little portraits like that. And what do you think the monkey and these like leaves and jungle vibe represent? Do you think it represents America, or do you think it represents Mexico?
Mexico.
Like more of her roots, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Alright, so where's she come from?
Mexico.
Mexico. Good. What is she kind of known for? Like what style of painting?
Oh.
Self-portraits. Good. And like kind of surrealism a little bit, right? Yeah? A little bit. And what is something she was inspired by?
Like the clothes.
The clothes, like the traditions of Mexico, right? Like the old Mexican folklore and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so you're gonna take paper, you're gonna fold it in half. And then you're gonna, I'll wait for it. Half this way, then you're gonna fold it in half the other way. So you can just do this and then fold it in half again. So we have 4 squares, so they're the same size. Everybody have it? Let's open it up. Okay, so then we're going to start by doing these step by step. So you can use these as a guideline, okay, for where to put stuff, alright? So to start, we're kind of doing like her hair, like how it would be like this, right? She was more pulled back and braids and stuff. So you're going to go about halfway down this line and make it just a little mark, like a little dot. Good. Then we're going to go out to, you see the center line is going this way?
Yes.
We're going to bring our finger, go over here and about here, and we're going to go up a tiny bit and make another dot. So about an inch. Good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Taking your finger, going over here, and making another dot about here. Another inch. Good. Alright, so then we're going to do a slightly curved line from here to here, okay? So we're going to connect this, and just draw lightly in case you want to change it, okay? And then the same thing on the other side. Got it? Good.
No, yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brody, gonna reach back. Okay. Alright, so from there, we're gonna go finger in the center, right, where they cross. We're gonna go down to about the center of that line and make a dot. So halfway down the center one, halfway there, good. You know, squeeze behind you, okay? Good. Then Brody, we're gonna make a dot right here for the bottom of the face. Good. Okay, then we're gonna kind of do this, right? So we're gonna connect these from here down to here, and same thing on the other side. Brody, you got it? Thumbs up if you're ready. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Right, Gabriel, you need another sec? Okay, then I'm gonna make it a guideline for my neck, okay? So, I'm gonna come over here, make a little dot, and here, make a little dot. You kinda want it even. So here's my center, I go about the same length from here and the same length back. I'm gonna draw a line like this, and a line like this, okay? The neck. So you can draw a line, like a little dot there, and then at the same part there, and then just draw a line down to about here for the neck. So you see how Gabriel did it? Like that. Alright, then we're gonna go in and do one of our necklaces, okay? So we're gonna start with a circle here. And then I'm just gonna kind of go like this. If you want to draw a guideline like this first, like a little arch, you can totally do that if that's more helpful. Then you can just erase it later. You want me to help you draw a guideline for how to do it? So from here to here, okay? And then Brody, can you pay attention please? You're gonna do circles around that. So just a couple more circles until you get there, okay? Can you show me so I can see you're doing it? We're almost done. We only have a couple minutes of class left. Good. Yeah, that looks great. Good job, guys. Everybody have all that done?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all we're gonna have time for today. Okay, so Daniel, tell me one thing you liked about the artist and one thing you were like meh about the artist that you didn't like really love. You go.
I just wanted, you know, the man, like
Yeah, you like that they're related to Mexican culture?
right. Well,
What's something that you weren't like super like style at all?
No, I'm saying I like it all.
Oh, you liked all of it? Yeah? Cool. Alright, Eduardo, what is something that you learned today about the artist that you didn't know?
So I like how like she likes them.
You can say both, it's okay. You can say something you like too. It's
What
alright.
I like about her is that she really motivated herself to keep like doing art while she was still injured.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? It's probably something that kept her going, right? Cool. What about you, Alex? What is something new that you learned that you thought was kind of cool about the artist?
Nothing really, because I'm Mexican. I know all of
Yeah, because you're Mexican, so you already were pretty familiar with her and stuff. What's something you like about her work then, or something you don't like? You can pick one or the other.
The dresses.
You like or don't like?
I like them.
You like and you like knowing the history about behind it and stuff like that? Cool. Alright, Krista, what about you?
Oh, I liked her style and how when she was in the bed, how she did some portraits.
Yeah, like how she painted in bed for hours and hours and hours, yeah. Very cool, awesome. So, different than the other artists we studied already, right? Yeah? What makes her different than like Keith Haring? The culture, she has more culture, right? And she does more, what style paintings? Self-portraits, good. So if we were to have a test, and you had like multiple choice, and Keith Haring does this style, she does this style, and then Andy Warhol does one style, you feel like you could tell the difference between the three? Yeah? So Andy Warhol was what?
Colorful.
Yeah, but what's the name of the genre he did?
Pop art.
Pop art, good. What about Keith Haring? What was he?
The one with the people, like this.
Dancing.
Yeah,
ones.
he's more like pop art too, right? He's kind of like part of the pop art movement as well.
He's the one that has the really weird looking art, kind of.
He's the one who did the stuff like that, right? With the figures, like the
Oh.
dancing stuff, right? And all that kind of stuff. Oh, you were sick, that's right. Right, and then
Or
she
no,
would,
for the little guys.
yeah, the ones in the middle.
Oh no, I was here for
And then
that.
this one. Yeah, you were here for part of it, yeah.
Yeah, but not all of it.
Alright, and then the movement that Frida Kahlo's a part of, remember? What's it called? What's one of them starts with S? Self-portrait could work, but also surrealism, right? Kind of living in that like dream world and stuff, right? So when she has the images of like the roots going into the ground and floating images and stuff, that could be kind of considered a little bit more surrealism, right? Okay, good job you guys. Alright, awesome. Cool. That's it for today.